As with the previous paper that we looked at, I've done the same thing here. I've written down the grade boundaries that we've been using for G, F, E, D and C and worked out which question we would start kicking into these grades. And you can see on this particular paper, question 4, if we got everything right up towards the end of question 4, then that's where we start grading as far as the GCSE is concerned. Okay, so let's get stuck in here. So the first question, write down in figures the number 35,602. 35602. Let's just check that. 2, 602, 5,602, 35,602. Part 2, write down in words that number. Again, start at the right. 5, 25, 25, 7,025, 17,025. So 17,025. B. From this list of numbers, write down two numbers that have a sum of 80. So we're looking for two numbers whose end digits will add up to 10 or 20 or something that will give us a 0 digit. And scanning that, I can see I got a 15 there and a 65 there. So the two 5s will add to give 10. So 60, 75, add 5 is 80. So 15 and 65 will sort that out. Two numbers with a difference of 32, so that means when you subtract them you're left with 32. So looking down that list, I can see there that 85 has got a 5, that's got a 3 on the end. 5 take away 3 is 2. 85 take away 53 is going to give me 32. Those are the two that I need, 85 and 53. A multiple of 9, multiple means it's something you get when you multiply 9 by another number. That means it's in the 9 times table basically. So 1 9's 9, 2 9's 18, 3 9's 27, 4 9's 36, 5 9's 45, 6 9's hang on, I've lost where I am. 9 6s are 54. 9 6s are 54. There you go. So 54 is a multiple of 9. And a square number is a number you get when you've multiplied a number by itself. And I can see there 7 7s are 49. So 49 is my square number. C. Write down all the factors of 35. So all the factors of 35 are all the numbers that divide into 35 exactly, and they come in pairs. So the first pair would be 1 and 35, because 1 times 35 is 35. It ends in a 5, so 5 goes into it, and 5 goes into it 7 times. So we've got 1 and 35, 5 and 7. D. How many books at £8.99 each can be bought with £40? Well, what you would do there is to round excuse me, £8.99 off to £9 and see how many times 9 goes into 40. 9 4s are 36, so there are going to be 4 books. Question 2. Okay, often you're asked for fractions here. In this particular question, it's percentages that we need to work with. So what we have here shaded is 1 2 out of 1 2 3 4 5. 2/5 would be it as a fraction. As a decimal, 1/5 is 20%, so 2/5 would be 40%. And if 40% is shaded, then the unshaded will be 60%, so that it adds up to 100. Right, 1/4 as a decimal. Well, the way that you do that is think of 100, divide 100 by 4 and you get 25. So 25 as a decimal, you would then write it as 0.25. 24%, right, percent as if it was pence written in pounds. So 24 pence, if you're writing in pounds, would be 0.24. In order of size, with the smallest first. The smallest one that we've got is, we also need to turn 3/10 into a decimal, which is 0.3. So the smallest is 0.24, which is 24%. Then we've got 0.25, and then 0.3, which would be 0.30. So they both, so all of them are to 2 decimal places, giving you 3/10. Question 3, metric unit, really important that you spot that. Distance from Rome to Paris, well, metric units are meters if it's fairly small, kilometers if it's distance between places, so that one would be kilometers. Volume of water used for a shower, volume of liquid would either be milliliters or liters, that would be liters. Area of a tennis court, meters, and because it's area it would be meters squared. And the weight of a piece of toast, well, weight is measured in grams and kilograms, and toast isn't very heavy, so it would be grams. Okay, so this question now, if we get this right, that means that we'll be into the grade zones with a G. Write down the next term in each of the following sequences. So what we've got to do is look at the differences and work out what's going on here. So you will see that this first one is going up by 7. 4 adds 7 is 11. 11 adds 7 is 18. 18 adds 7 is 25. So the next term is going to be 25 add 7, which is 32. And then the second one is going down, so it's going to be a subtract, and it's going down 8, and then it's going down 8 and another 8, so it's going to be 8 coming off 56, which is 48. For part B, they want you to write in words what the rule is for continuing each sequence. So what we have going here is the first is increasing by 6, the next is increasing by 6, and so is that. So in words, you are going to say add 6 to the previous number, and then for the second, well, that isn't going down by being subtracted by the same thing each time. What's happening here is that each of those are being divided by 3. 81 divided by 3 is 27. 27 divided by 3 is 9, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So you are dividing the previous number by 3. That gets us into G's. Okay, question 5, probability. Choose the best word from those given below to describe the chance of each of the following events occurring. That it will rain in London on at least one day in the period April the 1st, 2012 to April the 23rd, 2012. Well, it's not certain, it's spring, you get your April showers. I would say likely would be the word they're expecting there. That the outside temperature in Wales will be over 25 degrees in October. Well, it's not impossible, you could have an Indian summer, so, but I would say that it's pretty unlikely. And to get a score of 8 when a fair dice is rolled once is impossible because it only goes up to 6. So that one is going to be impossible. B. So we got a pictogram here. The survey was carried out to find out how many DVDs were sold in a shop on each day of a week from Monday to Saturday. Pictogram shows the result of the survey. The symbol represents 4 DVDs. So if we were to cut that into quarters, each quarter shape would represent 1 DVD. How many DVDs were sold on Tuesday? Well, on Tuesday they're complete DVDs, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of those, each of them representing 4, 16. On Wednesday you've got 2 complete ones, which is 8, and 3 quarters, which would be an additional 3. So that would be 8 and 3, 11. 10 DVDs sold on Thursday. Draw this. So 10 would be 4, 8, and we want another 2. So we would want half of a DVD as well, and that would make 10. How many more DVDs were sold on Saturday compared with Monday? Well, on Saturday we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 20, plus another 2 is 22. And on Monday we've got 4 and 3 is 7. So how many more were sold? You take those away, there would be 15 more. Okay, then we're into our measurement questions. There's my ruler and there's my angle measurer. Okay, measure the size of angle A, B, C. So angle A to B to C, the middle letter tells you this is the angle they want us to measure. So when we're measuring that angle, you want the center of your protractor to be in the corner of the angle where we're measuring, and you want the 0 to line up along the line, along one of the lines that we're measuring from. So we want to measure the angle from here, turning around to there. Looking at it, I would say that it's bigger than 90 and less than 180. It's going to be, I don't know, 160, something like that. So if that's 0, 10, 20, 30 is the outside scale on my angle measurer, which takes me around to 120, 123. So my guess of 160 was a bit out, but I did say that it's going to be between 90 and 180. That is between 90 and 180, so I'm quite happy that that's going to be correct. Then part 2, draw a straight line from the point A, which makes an angle of 28 degrees with AB. So 28 degrees is quite a small turn, so what I'm expecting is that sort of angle. So I put the center of my protractor on A, which is where the angle is going to come from, and I line 0 up with the line AB. Now here you can see that the 10, 20, 30 comes on the inside scale, and I want an angle of 28 degrees. So there's 20, there's 20, there's 30, 28 is going to be 2 in from there, like that. Now what you will think in the exam is, oh, I've done something wrong because that hasn't joined up with C. It was not intended to join up with C, that would have been a different angle. Okay, so the fact that they cross up there doesn't mean you've gone wrong. That's quite right. So there's your 28 degrees. Right, the next question is nets question. Nets, remember, are the 2-dimensional shapes that you get if you take a 3-dimensional shape and cut down the sides to lay it out flat. Okay, and we've got to do that on the next page, and they've started it for us. So the base has been drawn, and the base is 7 by 2. So what's going to happen here, if I just do a little sketch of what I'm going to draw, that would be the base. Then this side, which is 7 by 3, would come out there. So that would be 3, 7. Then you'd have the same on the opposite side. Okay, so that would be another 3, 7. Then along the side of the base we've got these two end flaps which will come out like that and like that, which will be 2 and 3, 2 and 3. And then finally we'll have the top, which we can either put up there or down below, and looking at the space that I've got, it's probably going to be better to go on top. So the top of this will go there, and that would be 7 by 2. So that's the shape now that we're going to be drawing on the next page. So first of all I'll draw this bottom 7 by 3. So 3 centimeters. There's my 3, there's my 0. Down there. And the same on that side. So if that's the base, that's the front. Then I'm going to draw the left hand edge, the left hand flap. And the left hand flap is going to be 3 centimeters out because it has to line up with this. So 3 centimeters that way. And 3 centimeters like that. So that's the left end. Then we've got a right end on the other side, which will also be 3. So that would be my right end. Okay, it's not asking you to label these, but it might help you follow what you're doing. Okay, so we've got the front, the base, we want the back now, which is 3 centimeters rectangular that way. And as with all diagram, the advice I give you is to use a pencil in the exam when you're doing this, in case you go wrong. So that will be the back. And then we've got one more to put on, which is the top of it, which we can either put there or, as I said, down there. And that's going to be the same as this, so that would be a 2 centimeter. Top. So if you try and imagine that what will happen there now, if we could fold that, leaving the base where it is, that would fold up to be the back, that would fold up to be the front, that would come over the top to be the top lid, and then these two ends would fold upwards to make both ends. Right. 2 rectangles, each 10 centimeters by 4 centimeters, are placed as shown in the diagram. So we've got them, but they've been slid so that they're offset. Find the perimeter of the complete shape shown in the diagram. So perimeter would be the total distance. If I started there and started to walk around the shape, total distance that I would walk. So from there to there would be 4. To that, I would walk that distance here. Now I need to work out what that distance is. Okay, so I know that this complete shape from there to there is 10 centimeters. So if that distance is 10 centimeters, from there to there would be 7 centimeters. To make from there to there 10, which means that from there to there would also be 3 centimeters. So I've travelled 4 and 3. Now I'm going to travel another 4. Then I'm going to go along here, which I know is 10. Then I go down here which is another 4. Across here, which I know is 3. And then down here, which I know is 4. And then 10 centimeters from there gets me back to the start. So it's that blue path that will give us the perimeter. Right, so let's work out what this is. I got 4, 7, 11, 21, 25, 28. 28 and 4 is 32. 4 plus 10 is 42. And the units of perimeter, it's just length, so it's centimeters. For the area of the shape, well, I know the area of that one rectangle will be 4 times 10, which equals 40. And the other one will also be 4 times 10 because they're both the same. So I've got another rectangle of 4 times 10. So the area of the complete shape will be 80, and the units for area centimeters squared. And if you look there, that's the question where there is a specific mark for writing that unit down and making it correct. So if you hadn't, if you'd have just left that as 80 there, you would have only got 2 out of 3 for that question. Okay, question 8. This is a conversion graph. These don't come up very often. The fluid ounce is a unit of volume. A metric unit of volume is the milliliter. The table shows the number of fluid ounces and the number of milliliters in each of 3 volumes. So 2 fluid ounces is the same as 57 milliliters, and so on. Use the data in the table to draw a conversion graph between fluid ounces and milliliters. So, as I've been saying on a number of occasions, when you are working with graphs, first of all, work out what the scale is that you're working with. And you can see here on this one, we're going from 0 to 50 in 10 squares. So 50 divided by 10 will be 5. So each little square going up is 5. Going across, we're going from 0 to 2 in 10 squares. 2 divided by 10 is 0.2. So each little square going that way is 0.2. So what we do with this is, first of all, we've got 2 fluid ounces, and that would convert to 57 milliliters. So 57 milliliters is going to be 2, there's 50, so that'll be 55, that'll be 60, so it would be somewhere between those 2 squares there. 5 milliliters will be there, and that, sorry, 5 fluid ounces is there, going up to 142 milliliters. So 142, well, there's 150, so that will be 145, so it'll just be below that one there. And then finally 7 fluid ounces will be 199, which will be just below there. They will lie on a straight line, so your conversion graph you can take through that. And then part B, use your graph to show how you can find an estimate for the number of milliliters in 30 fluid ounces. Well, we've only got up to 14. We're not going to be expected to extend our graph beyond the page. So what they're looking for you to realize is that if you can use this to estimate 10, you can then just multiply that by 3 to give yourself 30. So let's use the graph to estimate 10. So 10 fluid ounces. Mark it on your graph so you're showing the examiner that you know what you're doing. It works just the same way as a line of best fit. And read off that graph. And that's going to be that's going to be 200, that's going to be 25 further on, so that's going to be 275, and one more square, it's going to be about 280. So what you're going to say is that 10 fluid ounces is 280 milliliters, so 30 fluid ounces 280 times 30, and that will give you, if you ignore the zeros for a minute, 3 8s are 24, 2 3s are 6, 8, so it's going to be 8 4 followed by 4 zeros, so that's going to be 8,000. Sorry, it's not times 30, it's times 3, it's 3 times as much, so it's going to be 840. So 10 fluid ounces is 280, so 30 fluid ounces will be 3 times as much. 280 times 3 will be 3 times 0 is 0, 3 8s are 24, 4 down carry 2, 3 2s are 6, and 2 is 8. 840 milliliters. That's got me into the E grade zone. Question 9 is some algebra work. Okay, when we're simplifying here, I got 3x plus x. There's no number in front of it, that means it's one of them. So 3x and x is 4x. Add another 4x is 8x. Then we've got a single stage equation. 7 times x is 28. You want to undo the times 7 by doing the opposite of timesing by 7, which is dividing by 7. In algebra we write it as 28 over 7. 28 divided by 7 is 4. C. Use the formula C equals 5f plus 3h to find h when C is 35 and f is 4. So we write the formula out, but instead of putting all the letters in, we replace them with what we know. So I know that C is 35, 5f, I know that f is 4, but in algebra, if there's no mathematical symbol, it means there's a times there. So I have to do 5 times 4 plus 3h. I can work out what 5 times 4 is, which turns this into a multi-stage equation. I need to get the h's on its own. First of all, I undo the 20. The 20 is a plus on this side, so to undo it I've got to subtract 20. So that gives me 35 minus 20 is 3h. 35 take away 20 is 15, is 3h. 3 and the h are joined by times. To undo a times by 3, I have to do a divide by 3. So h is 15 divided by 3, h is 5. And to get us into the D zone, question 10 is an estimating question. Now, we've done loads and loads of these. The only difference this time is the guy is standing up vertically, and in all the other questions we've done, we are then counting how many standing up men fit in the shape. This time we have to lie him down to make him fit along that length there. If it's a man, either work in meters, which would be 2 meters, or in feet, which would be 6 feet. But 2 meters is much easier to work with than 6 is. So the actual height of the man, 2, and you have to put the unit in meters. Right, I'm going to measure my man now, and he's a centimeter. Okay, so his height is 1 centimeter. This distance is 14.5 centimeters. So the length of the whale is going to be 14.5 times each little man is 2 meters, which is going to be 29 meters tall. Wide, sorry, not tall. If you're working in feet, then it would be 14.5 times 6, which would be a bit more complicated to work out, but you could still get there. And the examiner has got a range of allowable answers there, which could be marked correct. But the key thing is you keep with the same units and you keep using the units. So 2 meters, 2 meters, meters, or 6 feet, 6 feet, and have your answer in feet. Okay, I'm going to stop there and then I'll pick that up on another clip.